First, we have been developing the MCP server for Mifos. The MCP server is connecting the Apache Finerac backend with an user interface. Right now, the current user interface that we have been used for the development has been Cloud Desktop, which is one tool for interacting between one LLM, which is called Sonnet. Sonnet is the proprietary version of Anthropic, which is a company that provide this kind of artificial intelligence, and this this AI allows to the people to create agentic solutions, and the agentic solution can interact between the existing system using the MCP in a standard way. So then the MCP right now is a trending topic because it allows to connect different backends using a protocol. The protocol is called model context. So then in the proposed solution for the user interface, we are proposing to integrate a new section in the external services that is called AI models. So then the person can connect different AIs, not only Cloud or Sonnet, but they can connect, for example, Quen, which is a Chinese AI. They can connect Llama, which is another AI produced by Meta, or they can connect Mistral, which is another open source LLM, or they can connect another one which can support tooling. It is important that the LLM can support the toolings, because it is important for querying which are the available tools in the MCP and for executing the tasks that they provide. For example, they can connect also OpenAI, they can connect Gemini, they can connect DeepSeek or another AI in order to access the functionality about reasoning and tooling. That is important. So then the person can add an URL and the API key in order to access the services that the AI provides. So this is the first section in order to connect the AI. The next section is about the MCP servers. For example, right now we have the Mifos X MCP server, but we can connect any other tool like, for example, like MCP for querying database, which is important for extracting reports. So then also the users can have the possibility to add more than one MCP server with different uh, kind of usage, and also the person can create or can uh, extend the current Mifos MCP depending on the needs or the requirements that they could have, because we are creating the framework. Right now, the MCP is usable for creating products, for opening accounts, for creating clients, well, all the management tasks that are behind this uh, functionality that is available also through the Mifos AI. But the functionality is done in an agentic way, which currently is, I can say, trending topic, because it's a new way for interacting with the system. Even for the non-experienced users, there is no need to have a previous knowledge about how to navigate through the user interface, but it's just like having a chat with our AI. Well, in this case, is the AI. So this allows to access the functionality of the system in a natural way. And we are proposing this kind of interaction, which are the next screen, because the users can have access to banking services in an easy way. So, this is the proposed user interface that can allow us to select which are the MCP servers that can be integrated into the conversation. For example, if we have enabled the uh, Mifos X MCP servers, we can add it into the conversation. If we are going to use the MCP server for accessing either the MySQL or Postgres database, it can be integrated. So then we can do queries against our database for extracting information. And then this functionality will be allowed or will be presented to the AI in order to give responses during our conversation. Also, there is an historical list of conversation that we have had previously with the AI in order to look or to find any previous conversation. And it also could have an usage about, uh, I can say, logging and monitoring, which are the actions that I have executed previously. Of course, there is a functionality in Mifos about the journal that records all the action that has been done during the session, but this will keep the conversation that present the prompts. The prompts are the instruction that the person sent to the AI. So then also these conversations, the prompts can be shared between the teams, or the conversation can be exchanged as open source prompts. For example, this is another way for exchanging information, which is the best prompt for creating users, for activating users, for opening accounts, for creating products. So then right now the prompt is the way that the person used for interacting with the chat. Prompt is the technical word for the chat that is, or for the instruction that the person are writing in the chat. So then also the proposed solution will have these historical chats. And if we are going to create a new chat, we can, we have add, or we have proposed to add a button for creating a new chat. What is important to have a new chat? Because most of the time the AIs use a cache. So then if we are going to create a customer, for example, in this case is Thomas, Thomas will be in the memory cache of this conversation. So then we have to maybe to clear the cache for creating a new customer. So then that is the reason that we have a new chat in order to clear the cache and start a new flow for creating a customer or for activating the savings account of one customers. And well, there is another section that identify the user that is executing the task. Currently, the MCP servers inherits the grants and the role that has been used in the basic authentication. So then if I have super admin grants, I could do any task that is available, like creating clients, like creating products, opening accounts, creating the accounting rules, everything that is under the super admin role. But if I am a teller, I can only, for example, do withdrawals. I can do only deposit, because the grants are limited to the role that I have during my login. So then it is another feature to prevent any kind of access or different access that I am allowed. So then if I have logged previously to the user interface, I'm going to inherit this functionality. So then the session, or well, every call must be authenticated before doing this kind of interaction in the chat. So
Can
this
I
is
ask a question?
yes.
um, I assume that this MCP code that we here see, the screenshots, this code is in a separate repository, yeah?
Yes, the screens that we have shared is have been taken using web yes, a web page or a web application that is called Sira. Right now
Mm.
is another tool right now, and
Okay, yes, I just I have a question regarding this user ID that
ah,
you, yeah, because I I actually was wondering if I should test that the permissions are consistently held in our web app client. Yeah, because we have many permissions that can be configured for users. How does MCP know about these permissions, or how does it work?
okay, the MCP, every time that we enter a prompt or an
Mm,
interaction with the AI, is that like an HTTP call, because the MCP present this in two ways. It can be in a let's say like an API REST, or using I can say a standard IO. I mean, like typing into the console. For this integration, we are using the API REST-like connection. So then the API must be authenticated in every call. So if we are going to use the session, which is the basic authorization that we have received during the login, we are going to send this basic authorization token in order
yeah,
to authenticate the call for this
I
conversation.
understand, but assume that I log on now with a user who has very limited permissions. And then I ask MCP, please create a new center for my bank and create some stuff for it. Would MCP attempt to do it and then fail, or would it not even try?
No, it won't try it because it will check for the role that you have.
Ah,
And
it
it,
would find out, yeah? Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it will say you are a teller, you can only do
Ah,
deposit and
okay,
do that
that
one.
is cool. Ah,
Yeah, that is
okay.
important also to warn the user which is the access level that it has and which are the permission that is
Hmm.
allowed to execute.
Interesting. Hmm.
Because, for example, right now, if you don't have any kind of warning or which is the role that you have in your session, maybe the menu is limited and you don't know why the menu is limited. Maybe someone has to explain you, here you have a limited menu because you are a teller. And this functionality now is implemented into the MCP. The MCP will
Wow.
tell you, you are a teller, you can only do withdrawal and deposit, for example.
Yeah. Mhm. Because actually the current web app is not very good in handling limited permissions. So for example, if I lack some permission and I navigate to the page where I can usually use this permission, for example, creating an account. If I lack the permission to create an account, I can attempt to go to this page and I get many weird error messages on the right side, on the right top,
Mm.
telling me, yeah, you have limited permissions. that is not very well done currently in our system, and I think we need to improve this later. But MCP seems to be more clever than our current web app.
Yeah, that is a feature that we want to present also to the user to
Yeah,
explain why it cannot execute the task, because
yeah. Mm,
if not, the user could have any confusion and could express, your AI is failing because I am sending the instruction without knowing that it has a limited permission.
mm.
So this is another feature also to send the
Oh,
feedback
yeah.
to the
Mm,
user that is limited.
mm.
And
Okay.
also during the chat, there is a possibility to open, because nowadays I can say the AIs have a reasoning section, so then the user can open this section in order to understand which was the, let's say, the thinking that the AI executed before selecting or executing a tool. Also, there is an information about for example, the task. In this case, is create client. It has been completed,
Mm,
and for having any detail, it can expand the section. And well, the section right now is a JSON. And also, if there is reasoning, for example, if we are going to open a loan account and the interest rate must be calculated beforehand, or must be, I can say, mm, well, it must be calculated before presenting it to the customer. The reasoning will be also shown to the user. That is important also, to have this kind of explanation about the processing task of the AI, and then just the result or the response of the AI. And also we can copy there is a section that we can copy the result, maybe just for pasting it in another tool, or just for, or well, I'm going to go to the next section, because the user also can execute a SQL search or a SQL sentence, of course, in a natural language, but we can copy the table, or we can download for example, the statement of an account, or the result of a deposit, which is the receipt. So then this section is, I can say, defined for the response. And well, the user can continue to chat uh, with the AI, depending which is the activities that it has planned to execute, or that it has been interacted with the chatbot. Well, the AI. Also, the user can select between different AI engines. If previously in the section of AIs models, we have set up the Quen, which is an AI, but it can select the Chat GPT, for example. It can select Gemini, depending which is the AI model that it has been selected for the activity. This is important because uh, the proprietary models have different prices, and depending on the prices, also the user can select every AI model, maybe for economical reason, or maybe for performance reason. So we are going to allow to the user to select which is the best AI model for the use case that they are going um, to select for the interaction with the AI. So this is the explanation about this web page. And another one is for creating, let's say, reports, which is very important. The reporting for the financial institution gives information about, for example, the loan portfolio or the savings portfolio, or which is the I can say the delinquency buckets that they have now active, or which is the income or the outcome, talking in the assets, or maybe if they have implemented regulatory reports, they can request to the AI, please create the regulatory report for the loan portfolio in the Q1 period of this year. So then the person will have more natural way to do to create the regulatory reports, and it can be configured or can be selected for in the user interface. For example, the date range that from and to, I mean the dates, and maybe we can re-execute that query if it was not the expected result um, that was generated during the first attempt. And it can create a table that can be exported. It can be exported in CSV or Excel format, depending which is the output. And also we have viewed this behavior in a tool that is called Supersonic. We use Supersonic for another, I can say, data science projects, but we found it very useful for querying information in Mifos. So then I'm going to share later the link to Supersonic tool, and it's amazing for extracting information using the AIs.
Can I ask another question here?
Yeah, please.
Are you not? We should all be concerned that the artificial intelligence that we use here does not use the data that I input, yeah? Because I don't want a free version of Gemini to know about my banking.
Yeah, I think that is the concern that everyone has. In
Yeah,
fact, for example, for the data science projects that we have been involved,
yeah,
we use local AI deployments.
yes,
We don't
exactly. Yeah.
use we
Mm.
don't use even we don't use the paid version. We use the local versions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Mm.
this is also the reason that we have previously for MCP deployments.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
can use the local, or we are going to
yeah, yeah,
promote the use of local deployments, because it is important to have the data privacy,
yeah.
because this is the main concerns of all the IT organization that currently are using AI, that the data is not exported or shared for another training, because
Yes,
the data could appear in the output of another person.
yeah.
So this is important, yes, to have, or we suggest to have a local deployment for the
Mm.
AI model or for the MCP server, because they could have more security, and they can uh, also have a transparency about the usage of the information.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Mm.
is a good question, and this is a very valid concern that all the person that is using currently AI have about the data that they are extracting from the data sources.
Yeah. Mm. Okay, I see. Mm. Thank you. Mm.
And this is the table output. For example, this is a report, a regulatory report. It has been currently extracted using the supersonic tool, but this functionality can be implemented into the Mifos AI. So then the person can export to CSV or to Excel this table. And we think that is possible because we are using this tool in another kind of project. But embedding this into the Mifos UI could give, I can say, a super powerful tool to the users because they can generate, for example, this kind of reports using natural language. In the prompt, they can type it, generate the loan portfolio of the last 30 days, for example. So later they can apply more filters in the prompt. For example, only retrieve the loans that are active or that has been closed, depending which is the filter that they want to apply. But we are not presenting the filters like a drop down, but just like a natural conversation with a person. Hey, please send me or retrieve the loan portfolio with the closed status of the last 30 days and only from the Mexico City branch, for example. So then this kind of solution will be very powerful for extracting information. And also, as you have mentioned, we suggest that they use only local deployment of AIs and MCPs for keeping the data privacy. Yeah. And this is another functionality. Well, maybe we have to work on the also on the user interface of the reports, but well, currently we are using Pentaho reports, but well, it is a tool that has been used for a long time. But also we can, for example, request to have the savings account balance of Victor Romero, which is me, and the AI will extract the information for creating the savings account balance, presenting this in a PDF format. And this is the interaction with the reporting plugin that has been created by Mifos. And this plugin is using currently Pentaho. Later it could use Jasper or any other reporting tool that could generate PDF. But this is another integration that is being proposed in the, let's say, AI module of the Mifos X admin user interface. So this is the another feature that we think that is useful for the end users and that can improve also the user experience because now, well, in the futures, the users could interact with the Mifos AI in a more natural way without a previous, let's say, training, because it will be just chatting with the AI. And well, that is the screens that we have been shared. Right now, we are working on improving the MCP server for the LOAN. LOAN is one of the more complex functionality that the Mifos AI has implemented in order to connect to the Apache Finerac. But well, we are working on this and we expect to complete the MCP functionality for LOANs during the next week. So the users will have, I think, an end-to-end functionality available in the MCP. We have been working very hard for having it available to the community. It is open source. The MCP server is available also in the Mifos repository, and anyone can clone it, fork it, do the changes, send the contribution in order to uh, continuously evolve the MCP server, because this is a tool that has been, I can say, uh, make public in order to improve it faster also, and to receive feedback from the Mifos community. And well, that is The explanation about the pages that we have done a prototype in the Figma. Everyone is also free to use the Figma to give comments also. If you require access, please just share the email and we can give you the access to the Figma for making changes if you require it. This is just the initial work that we have done. We have done also the Figma for the mobile banking, for the wallets, and for the UI, and we are going to share another Figma model because recently we have seen use cases about e-commerce and wallets using AI, and well, we think that this is also very, I can say, important to share with the Mifos community because I think that if we express our ideas in a graphical way, like Figma, uh, other members of the community can understand our ideas. And if they are more skilled in the technology, for example, in the web apps, in the backend section, they can help and they can contribute into the Mifos projects that are available.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. I think I still haven't got fully how you do this magic in the MCP server, but I might have a look at the source code and I understand better.
Well, I think that well, the use of the MCP is very easy, but I think that we have to do another session for MCP, how it works with the AI models, how it interacts with the systems. In this case, is Apache Finerac, because if you look at the MCP, it is very easy to understand which are the tooling, how the MCP lists the tooling, how the MCP execute the tools, sending the right parameters, which is an important, I can say, a stage or a step during the execution of the MCP, because sending the parameters in the proper format is the, let's say, the magic that is executed by the AI. Depending on the AI model, it will select the best tool, it will select the best format. So then that is the reason that we are working also on a distilled model of Quen. Currently we're using Quen for our development and local deployments, but the distilled model of Quen will be specialized on Mifos, so then it will have a better performance in a low resource computer in order to execute Mifos task or let's banking task. But this is another independent project that we are also working. We're working right now on the MCP for having it stable and functional end-to-end for interacting with the Apache Finerac. And the next stage is to work on the distilled model of Quen for using Mifos or for executing financial tasks. And I think that there is another scheduled session for the end of May, and we are going to talk and to explain about the use of MCP. And because of your comment, Felix, we are going to explain how it interacts with the AI and how it works, the MCP models with the AI models.
Have you tried to use it in Spanish language or in other languages? Because generally AI is very good in other languages. Does it work?
Yes, it works. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is really cool.
In fact, our previous deployment of AI models or MCPs, because, well, this is a specific MCP for Apache Finerac, but for previous models, we use Spanish, for example.
Yeah.
This is the primary language, and it works perfectly.
Wow.
And you can do the switch between languages without, for example, selecting English. No. It's the AI understand the prompt in Spanish and provide the response in Spanish. If you change or switch automatically or without any previous warning to English, it will reply in English or in German, in Italian. Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if anyone, Pranav or Biplav, if you have any question, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, Victor, I am very new to this concept of MCP. I had one basic question, like in the second slide, where you mentioned that a teller can chat and create an account. Let's say the second slide. In this says what part of the data goes to the MCP and what part of the data goes to the LM. Like we are chatting and asking the and like on this chat you're asking it to create an account. So I just wanted to understand like what part of the data like what goes to the MCP and then what goes to the LLM. If
Oh,
this is just a basic question.
No, and that question has given me another idea. Maybe, for example, currently, the ChatGPT or any other AI chat is presenting some, I can say, examples about the capabilities that it has, and you can click on it just like a template. So then maybe we can present here a template about which can be the following interaction, presenting which are the data that will be required, for example, for creating a client. We can present here a button, create client. If the user select this, it will present the which is the expected information, for example, the name, the birth date, maybe an external ID or the national ID, depending which is the, the, the way that we want to present this information. And the user can start to chat or they can select that previous template and it can just replace the section, for example, the postal code, the country. So this question give me the idea for presenting this in a more user friendly. So then they can just select which is the action that they can do. As we have mentioned previously, the grants or depending the roles, it will have a limited grants about the action. So then if I am a teller, maybe I can only see in the screen two buttons, one for doing deposit and one for doing withdrawals. If I select withdrawals, I will be or well I can see the template, give me the name of the customer or the number of the account and the amount that I'm going to do the deposit. No? And that's it only as a template. That's a good idea because, well, we know that there is at least a requirement to understand which are the basic information that we have to send to the backend, even for the newcomers, for creating a client or for opening an account or for executing a withdrawal. If we help them with this kind of templates in the chat, the user will have also a better understanding about the action and the data that is required for interacting with the available tools that they have.
Thank you, Victor.
Yeah. Yes, Pranav.
Can you hear me?
There is a little noise on the.
I'm audible?
I can hear you, but there is noise in your conversation.
Oh. Now?
It is
Yes.
very difficult to hear you. Your microphone is not working well, or
Yeah, my microphone has little problem. I'll
Maybe you can type the question in the chat.
Victor, actually, my question, the previous question was not related to the like giving the user suggestions regarding the templates to use. It was more of like how the MCP works, like what MCP does in this, what role does MCP play, and what role does the LLM play. Like if I chat with the MCP chat on this window, what part of the like as far as I could understand, MCP is basically helping the LLM use the tools on the machine, right? The toolings, basically.
Yes, the MCP is a standard way for connecting the AIs, let's say the LLM models, with the backend system. In this case, the backend system is Apache Finera. So then the MCP will present all the tools that are available for executing any of them with parameters. The MCP also present the parameters in a standard way to the AI model. And the AI model is in charge to do the, let's say, translation between the conversation of the human to the backend system. If it requires a date formatting, if it requires I can say a currency or a number formatting, the LLM is in charge to do this. I think that we have to present also another session an a detailed explanation about the MCP, the AI models, and how it interacts with Mifos, because I can say that is very extensive this response.
Yes, yes.
Also, I invite you to join the AI channel. I'm going to try to type the channel in the web app, so then you can review the previous conversations that we have had about the MCPs or any other resources related to AI, in order that you can have a better understanding. And yes, we are going to have this MCP session for a better, I can say, explanation or detailed explanation about the AI and Mifos. And well, I'm going to read the question of Pranav. My question is that users are given option to choose the AI model. What's the difference will it make on choosing different models for doing tasks? As it is completely depends on of if someone can afford it. I mean, how choosing different models will affect the task work. Yeah. Well, for example, currently the AI models, depending on the complexity that they handle, they have different, for example, in the proprietary models, they have different costs or depending on the capabilities also. If we select also a small model, the performance is faster, but the accuracy is reduced. Maybe for just creating a client, the model could be selected for a small model with a low price, for example, or maybe if we have deployed it in a local data center or in a local computer, it will expend less time than using a complex model. Uh, for example, right now we use GPUs for executing these models, and they are dedicated CPUs. but depending on the size of the model or the complexity of the model, it could take, for example, just a couple of seconds to retrieve the response. But if we have selected a complex model, it could take in our local machines more than 1 minute to retrieve the response, because it depends how many parameters has the AI model. So that is the reason that the user can select one AI model or another. Because, for example, it can be Quen, but it can be Quen with 1 billion of parameters, or it can be Quen with 14 billions of parameters. The response times and the, let's say, the reasoning part is different or behaves different in both models, and they could have different processing results. So that is the reason that the person could have the option to choose between models or size of models, and also because of pricing. But as we have said previously, if there is a privacy concern, they can select to use a local model. That is the reason that we have to allow to the user to do a choice about the model that they can select for executing a task. And as I have said, it's not only about prices, it's about also about data privacy concern, or also it could be about performance, or it could be also about accuracy.
Have you had good experiences with a cheap model or a free model that we can already use for this?
Yes, the free models I use the Quen. This is a free model.
And it works well, yeah? Mm-hmm.
It works very well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there is a new version that is called Quen 3. I think this is the version 3. We are doing the testing, but as maybe the next week we can say our evaluation about this new model. But for now, it seems that it's very, very fast.
Victor, what is the server config where you are using this Quen model? Like, this is a full model, right?
Yes.
Not a distilled one.
Yes, the full model.
So what is the server config for running this model? That you are using?
I'm going to type it. But let me find it, because it's already in the chat, in the AI chat. But I'm going to share the specs on the either on the web app channel and the AI channel. Yeah, that is the model, Felix.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And as you have seen, the Quen 3 model is the latest one that has been released, I think that 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And well, I'm going to share the specifications about the machine that we have for our local deployment.
That is very interesting. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another question before closing the call. Yeah, I know that there are a lot of questions. I also invite you to join the AI channel. We change a lot of information there. Just as an ending and closing statement, the previous studies that I have taken was a master in AI in the computing research center here in Mexico. So that is the reason that I am very interested in this AI implementation, which is the interaction between persons and systems, and I can say legacy system, because Apache Finerac is a mature technology, and then it allows to be connected in a modern way. Well, and that's it for now. I'm going to share the specs on the web app and the AI channels. Well, the invitation is open to join the AI conversation that is on Wednesday, and they are managed by David. So please contact David for any other, David Higgins, for any other query about the meetings and the, I can say, events around AI in Mifos.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, and have a nice day. We will be in contact.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.